Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Indigo Womb Wisdom podcast. I'm your host and sister friend, Shatia Tee Owsley, and thank you for watching and or listening. So sit back, grab some tea and a notebook, and let's vibe together as we have organic and practical conversations embracing intuitive womb wisdom, spirituality, and a sprinkle of magic to rebel, restore, and radiate overall wellness in our lives.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back or welcome to this new episode of the Indigo Womb Wisdom podcast. I am your host and your sister friend, Shatia Tee Owsley, and today we're diving into a powerful and necessary conversation about Black maternal health and the importance of building a strong birth team. We're joined by an incredible guest, a Houston-based doula who has dedicated her work to helping women, especially Black women, have safer and more informed and more empowered birth experiences. So today I would like to introduce our wonderful and beautiful guest, Miss Chaka Parker. Hey, girl.
Yay, thank you. Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Chaka is the heart and soul behind Doula with a Purpose. As a full spectrum certified holistic doula, she walks alongside women and families through their pregnancy and birth journeys, offering steady guidance, compassion, and care every step of the way. Rooted in love and healing, Chaka specializes in maternity Reiki, vaginal steaming, breastfeeding support, and childbirth education. She empowers women to reconnect with their bodies, trust their instincts, and embrace the sacred transformation that comes with bringing new life into this world. Hi, boo.
Hey. How you feeling today? How you feeling?
I know I read your bio, but I want you to give us a little bit more about you. How did you start this journey?
I believe that this journey started for me a long time ago. So if I had to be honest with myself, I feel like this journey started with me when I was a little girl, but didn't quite know. I've always been drawn to pregnant women and babies. Like I just gravitated towards them. I always wanted to be around a mom who was pregnant, watching her stomach grow and expand, but I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't really have the knowledge, that we have now or until you go through it. So as I got older and I just kind of seen, I went from, oh, I'm going to be an OBGYN to, oh, I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. None of that ever took place. And that's okay. We're still looking into different options now. But what did I end up doing is in 2018, I was already toddling the fence of becoming a doula prior to this. And a lady that used to do my hair, we were sitting there and we were talking. She's a really good friend of mine. And she was like, doulas are born. You know what you're called to do. And she's just doing my hair and she's doing it like it's just a normal day. It's a normal Saturday. Don't ask her no questions, don't nothing. And I sat there because I knew that the seed was already planted. And so my direction I really originally wanted to go was a midwife. But I was like, when you become a midwife, the nourishing part, you're still very nourishing and loving, but you have to pay more attention to moms, safety wise, and what are some of the things going on with mom and baby and this and that. So you get a really good midwife when they can do both, right? But, safety is the number one concern and you just want to have a safe delivery. So once she told me that, I pondered on it. I sat with it. I was fortunate enough to become a surrogate mom the first time, and Spirit told me throughout that pregnancy, you know what you're supposed to do. And in that moment, I was just kind of like, okay, whatever, you want to push it to the side, and everything started falling into my lap. And so that's kind of how the journey began. And every step of the way, everything always aligned how it was supposed to, whether it be from mentoring, someone volunteering to mentor me linking up with the same person on different occasions, but they're helping me to learn to expand my business, people reaching out to me, just like how you did yourself. Just all these things started aligning. And I was like, I know what I'm meant to do and where I'm supposed to be.
You are based in Houston. How has Houston shaped your experience of being a doula?
Whoa, that's a good question. Thank you. So first and foremost, I want to say that my heart and love for Houston runs deep. I'm originally a native from California, and I thought I would have started this walk in California, and I didn't. I started the walk in Houston. So everything I have, people have poured into me from here and made sure I am some of who I am today. And the heart of that comes from there are a plethora of wonderful doulas from all walks of life out here. Wonderful midwives, birth workers from all elements out here. We all have the same goal and journey. We just want things to change. We want it to look different. We're tired of having the same story. We've been having the same story for years. We don't even have to count the years because it goes way way above, above and beyond me and you. So Houston has shaped me to want to come in and do the work because moms are looking for the support. They want the support. They want to be educated. They want to learn about it. Um, and I think everybody should have that opportunity and a chance. I've given birth in Houston twice. One time, my very first time giving birth out here was traumatic. And that was almost 19 years ago. Let me go back, 20 years ago. That birth was traumatic, and I never wanted to experience that again. I was fortunate enough to, it's 2005, 5 years ago, have another birth out here through surrogacy, and that birth was everything I can ask for and more, even though it was through the time of COVID. So do you see how some small things can change? Part of that change is because I had the birth team that I needed and I wanted. And everybody that I wanted in that room was in that room. And everybody that I didn't want in that room, they were not in that room. So the dynamics changed dramatically because I learned what I needed and what I wanted, and it didn't matter the time. So Houston has even shown me just when it comes down to community out here and putting their, when it's time to get to work and do stuff, everybody is ready. They have their hands, their feet, their everything in it. What can we do? What do we need to do? No moms left behind. How can we serve this person? Oh, we just had a hurricane. There's a group called We Got Us going out, providing different things. So Houston has shaped me to learn to be a better community.
I love that as your community continues to pour into you. And that's so beautiful because we need that. So when we're talking about building a birth team, what roles do you believe are essential? And how do you feel families can identify the right people for their team?
First and foremost, I want people to realize to start interviewing people. Interview your OBGYN, interview your midwife, interview your doula, chiropractors, pelvic floor therapists, nutritionists, whatever you choose to have, interview. Take a few moments. So the first thing is, do you have a few moments to answer a couple of questions? With that being said, let's be very mindful of people's time. We don't want to get somebody and decide we're going to ask them 50 million questions and know that we're not going to go with them. So that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you're really drawn to somebody and they have a schedule, get on their schedule, set some time out, ask your most important questions. I think you should have anywhere between 5 to 10 questions that matter to you, whatever that looks like. What are your C-section rates? What happens if you're on vacation? If you get sick? What if what I have planned for my birth doesn't align with you feel aligns with my birth? How many people can I have in a room? What will you do if things, how well do you work under pressure? Are you going to make the room more chaotic? Are you a little bit more calm? So whatever your questions are, this is what is important to do. So I would say first and foremost, interview and have a line of people. Have 2 to 3 people that stand out to you. Set that time up, interview them. Once you do that, then that's how I feel that you start building your team because now you know if the things that you guys want are the same things. Like, I need T to be Chaka's doula, but is T gonna be there for me? What does that look like? I don't want you to, when I think about advocating, I want you to be there to just make me remember all the things I told you when things are going left. Not necessarily that you have to be like, no, Chaka's not doing that, right? But just the part where you look at me and be like, okay, so let's remember a little bit. This is the way you kind of want to go. If you need to switch, that's fine, but I want to make sure you're comfortable with that. So these are different things that I feel is important to have that conversation because once you're in labor, things go out the window.
Absolutely.
So I think that that's just what's really important. And then also making sure if you're going with a OB, and even sometimes midwives. Of course, we know that midwives are way more doula friendly, but you have a lot of OBs that are doula friendly too. Take that time out to ask them questions. Hey, I'm building my birth team. I'm considering having a doula. How do you feel about that? Is it okay for my doula to come to my appointment? Can you guys meet? Is it okay for them to ask a couple of questions? Do you have questions for them? When you make a room comfortable and you create that atmosphere, it's just a little bit easier.
Mhm. Mhm. I definitely agree. For someone who's pregnant for the first time, what do you think are some key qualities they should look for when they're choosing their doula, when choosing a midwife or a OB or any other birth professional?
Are they compassionate or are they dismissive? Did they answer your questions or did they tell you what you were going to do? Did you feel heard and seen when you went to that appointment? Or do you feel like they told you and redirected everything? Did you feel rushed? How comfortable did you feel? Not just physically. Let's get to the root of everything. Birth is spiritually. How did your spirit feel when you walked in that room? How did that person make you feel around them? Were you comfortable? Were you kind of like, it's something about them. I don't really know what it is, but my spirit doesn't really resonate with them. Or was this like, oh my God, I met this provider today. She is amazing. She took the time out. She answered all of my questions. My appointment was done in a nice time. The office is clean. The office staff is very friendly and nice. They got me in, they got me out in a timely manner. So these are some of the things that I think that you should think about is how comfortable. But the main thing is, were you seen and were you heard?
I think that's so important because a lot of times you spend more time in the waiting room than you do back in the room with your provider, right? So you don't always get to ask all your questions and sometimes you do feel rushed. But like you said, there are excellent providers out there, whether they're midwives or they're OBs who are taking time with their patients and really listening and wanting their patients to feel safe, to feel seen, and to work through whatever difficulties or discomforts they may have. As we know, Black women significantly face higher risk in pregnancy and in childbirth. From your perspective, being on the ground, being a Black woman, having a traumatic birth experience, right? What are some of the common challenges that Black women encounter, and how can a strong birth team really help address those challenges to decrease them or at least to be a voice for that family?
I feel like I'm gonna be repeating myself a little bit, but it's
Mhm.
about we're not seen or heard. We're not looked at sometimes as human beings or equals to others. When I walk into the room, I don't want you just to see my color. I would like for you to relate to me as a woman, not just you're going to do this, you have to do this, right? So a lot of times I feel when nurses come into a lot of these rooms, because right now a lot of my births are at hospitals, and so sometimes I feel like a nurse will automatically just tell a mom what she's going to do. Give you a short story. At a birth, mom is doing very well. The birth is unmedicated. She's doing all the things she needs to do. She's going to have a cervical check. She says it's okay to have it, but throughout, she just starts feeling a lot of the pressure and pain, and she needs a moment. Instead of the nurse kind of backing off and saying, okay, I'm going to pull my hands out now, it was like she kept going. And I had to look at her and I had to say, can you give her a moment to catch her bearings? Also, I noticed that mom started like trying to grab the nurse's arm, like, hey, give me a minute. And in that moment, the nurse grabbed her other arm, like, hey, I'm not going to pull out. I don't want to change my glove. That's not okay. What I heard mom, and that's why I interjected and said, can you give her a moment to catch her bearings? I understand that you have a job to do, but at the end of the day, that is her body and her right. And we have to remember what violation means. That's a violation to your rights. So that's what I'm starting to notice is that a lot of moms aren't heard, they're not seen. Don't be a young mom, right? Because now we're looking at you and saying, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. I know my job. And then don't be too much of an older mom. It's a catch-20, right? You can't be an older mom nowadays either, because now you have to go through all these things. So what's important to me is, number one, as a doula, my main focus is to always make sure that all of my clients and their partners know what advocating looks like, and to advocate for themselves. Like I tell them, I can advocate for you all day long, but who do you think that they're going to listen to? So no means no, stop means stop, right? Or give me a moment. So I'm there to kind of soften everything. So once I hear mom say, no, stop, after a while, I'll hear what both parties are saying. And then I'll say, hey, can you just give her a moment, please? And a lot of times, they'll say yes, no, or if the baby's in distress, I understand that. Then I might have to look at mom and say, hey, we might have to continue on. But I promise you, 1 or 2 minutes isn't going to make a difference for somebody just to be able to take their breath. So I think it's really important to teach people to advocate for themselves, but to also really know what they want and don't fold when things are getting hard and challenging.
We had another doula on the show not long ago, and one of the things that she really talked about was the power of the pause, right? And it just reminded me of that. It's so simple, but it can feel so difficult for people, to do that at times.
Mhm.
And so I just appreciate hearing that we are trying to take that moment and really show the importance of the pause and how much of a difference that it can make in a short period of time. Can you walk us through what doula support with you looks like?
Okay. Oh my God, T. Let me be honest with everybody. I am a hot mess. I am not everybody's doula. Let y'all tell you right now. So I am very nourishing, loving, but I'm also very kind of stern, right? So when it's time to come in and do the work, I always tell people when they meet me, what you see is what you get. I am who I am. I want you to know me. So I have a saying where I say, I'm either the sister that you always wanted or the cousin that you can't get rid of. And you're like, why is she always here? What it looks like for me is, when a client first starts with me and hires, I listen to what they need and what they want. And then we sit down and we map a plan. This is what I hear you saying you want, right? A lot of times, the first thing I hear everybody say is, I want somebody that can advocate for me. I put a stop to that. Not in a bad way, but I make it very clear to people. Do you want me in the room with you, or do you want them to ask me to leave? And everybody will get this look like, what does she mean? Well, what happens is, if I'm like, no, T is not doing this, after a while, they're going to say, she has a doula in there. The doula is very combative. She's messing up the labor. She won't let the nurses touch her, and different things like that. So what I do is I teach partners and the mom in labor how to advocate for themselves. Speak up for yourself. And then I chime in as needed, right? I walk into a birth. Hey, how you doing? I'm Chaka. Nice to meet you. I'm the doula. Have you been able to look at her birth plan yet? Nice. Do you have any questions or concerns? Well, let's get it. I'm here. We're a team. We'll do this together, right? So that way I open up to the nurse and to the room, and then they're like, oh, okay, she's kind of personable. She's not that bad. Also with my clients, I come in, how much research have you done for yourself? Have you taken a childbirth education course? Do you know if you want to breastfeed? If you do, have you taken a breastfeeding course? A lot of parents find it really important nowadays to take CPR. I'm all for it. Have you looked into that? So these are the different things. I don't want just people coming to me saying, okay, you're the expert. I give it all to you. No, I know nothing at all. And they're like, no, I know nothing at all, because I'm getting to know you. And this experience is new, right? So then that's the first thing. So once we do all that, we have a birth plan. I know what they want. They know how I'm going to be. Then it works out. I even have to tell people, watch my mouth sometimes. I could be the cussing doula. That's okay. We say bad words every now and then. I'm also a very stern doula. So we have this thing where we say, come to Jesus moments, or them certain talks that we have to have. And I'm normally the one people will come get to have the talk. And I'm like, why? But I realize why, because when I say it with love, and I make sure that everybody knows that. So whether you're my client or you're a part of the group that I'm with, when it's time to have that talk, I don't have a problem with, okay, mom, this is what's going on. This is what we have to do. How are you feeling? It's okay. Let it all out. If we have to cry together, I'm going to be there to cry with you. If I have to hold you, I'm going to hold you. If I have to give you a shower, I'm going to bathe you. Whatever you need from me. But in this moment, this is what we need to do. What's the holdup? Is it something spiritual? Let's go on and release this, right? Is it something physical? These are the positions we can put you in. Or is it emotional? Is it something between you and your partner? Do I need to step away and maybe you guys have this conversation? Because whatever it is, something's holding you up from being the person that you need to be in this moment. What can I do to support you? How can I change the trajectory of what you have going on? And that's kind of how I am. I go into it with being myself, number one, coming into it with love and seeing you as though I would want to be seen. And so I know for me, being heard is very important to me. Hear me, hear exactly what I'm saying. Even if I haven't said it with my mouth, what did my body tell you? What did my eyes tell you? What do you see going on around me that maybe you could suggest or change and different things like that? Coming into it with honesty and with love, I think too many people come into stuff, oh, this is going to be great. I don't. I don't mislead anybody in any way at all. I'll be like, birth is no joke. Sometimes you may feel like you got hit by a dump truck. Sometimes you might feel like you're losing your mind. But at the end of the day, when you're holding your baby and it's all said and done, it's worth it. And even sometimes after, you looking at this baby like, what the hell just happened? And I got to take you home. And who's going to help us? And so these are things, I'm real honest with this, but out of love and out of respect. And then I also have learned to give people what they need. So what I might be able to give to you, maybe this mom can't have that. So maybe I do need to soften it up a little bit. I don't have a problem doing that either. But I look at people that one of my things that I always try to manifest is align me with people who really need me and who can accept me. I'm probably not for the more softer mom, but then I find that they're the ones that gravitate because they're like, okay, you're going to get it done, because I'm like, hey, you're asking me to do everything but push the baby out for you. You have to do the work.
Right.
So I like to be aligned with people who know that my intentions are well and that I'm going to see them through, because I never guarantee a birth outcome. But you know what I do guarantee? I'm going to support you all the way. No matter what that looks like, I'm going to be there and I'll help you. And unless I see something going really wrong, yes, I don't ever get it twisted. I advocate. If I see something that's not completely right, oh, hold on a minute. Let us go back. But it's not what you do, it's also how you do it. If you see, like I heard a doctor before, oh, we're going to have to cut. We're going to give you a episiotomy. Oh, okay. Is there a reason why? Can we maybe turn her around and see if we can maybe change positions and different things like that? So I speak up when needed. It's just a certain way that I speak up to get people's attention. And just know she didn't have that episiotomy because we're not doing no cutting today. That's what we're not doing if we could help it.
Yes, yes. So you mentioned partners, and I love, love, love when doulas mention partners, because I think sometimes partners don't know where they sit. They don't know where they come in. They don't know what to do with their hands. They don't know what to say. And a lot of times, this is the very first time they have ever seen their partner in this much discomfort, this vulnerable, and in some ways, based on some of the, feedback, that's just out of control, right? Or on the flip side of that, they didn't realize how resilient they were, how strong they were, how powerful they were. And then they have a totally different view of them after the birth and what they experienced. And so what does that look like coming from Chaka to the partner.
Dueling dads. Love it. I love it. I love nurturing moms, but I love dueling dads. And I always have most dads laughing because they're like, why? And I'm like, because the more you know and the more you do, the less I have to. You got her pregnant, not me. And they always laugh at that. But you said the key thing. They don't know what to do. So I go into most of my meetings also making sure that moms know that. Dad doesn't know what to do. That's why he's on his phone. Like you said, he's disconnected. He's really not disconnected. He's just trying to find his way in his place.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I like to do is one of my requirements is the partner has to come to one or two of my prenatal visits so that they can make sure that their questions are being answered and there's no dumb question, right? Because we don't know what we don't know. I try to give as many resources as I can, and then I also let them know what I'm going to be doing. So when it comes to hip squeezing and doing turns and this and that, so number one, they're not looking at me like, what the heck is she doing to my wife or partner? And then number two, they have a better understanding. Oh, okay, well, if I do this, I might be able to make her feel a little bit more comfortable. So there's a saying for me, there's a power in a man. There's a power in his presence. There's power in in his touch. It's power in the way that he speaks versus as how his voice sounds in a room. Right. And then I also feel there's power in his smell. Only thing I tell dads, don't go put on a whole bunch of cologne. Your natural smell is what she needs at that moment. And so I say this because a lot of males don't realize that. They'll always say, no, she doesn't want me to touch her. It's not. And then I'll ask her, well, what is it about him touching you that bothers you? We all normally say the same thing. He's too rough or he's not doing it how I want him to do it, right? That's normally the way it goes. Okay, would you be okay with me showing him so that he can try so he can be more a part of it? Well, if you show him, then yes, I'll do it. Okay, cool. Well, let's get in here. This is what you're doing. Her body is not a football or a basketball. So that's the first question. Did you play sports? Yep, I did. Okay. Do not hold her like you held that football, right? Loosen up a little bit. So I teach them these things. And then I answer the questions. I let them know these are the stages that we're going to go through in labor. And throughout these stages, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have the funny love of your life where you guys are laughing and joking and hee-heeing. Then you're going to have the one where she's going to throw up her hands and say, whoo, give me a minute. I need to catch my breath. Then you might have the quiet one for a little bit. She doesn't have anything to say because she's just trying to make it through and is getting there. And then you have the one that, nope. Then you have the ones that may cuss you out and make you feel real bad about your life. I said, forgive her. I promise you towards the end, she'll love you again. And then you have the ones that are overly emotional. And it's okay because some women are emotional. And so this is a time that she needs you. Just see what she needs. Does she need you just to come and stand by her and hold her hand? Does she need that special hug that only you can do, right? That's where that physical touch comes in. That's where the smell comes in. Does she need you to kiss her on the forehead or on the lips and just affirm to her, baby, you're doing an amazing job. You are an amazing woman. Thank you for being who you are, bringing my baby into the world. You know, I got you. I'm going to hold you. What is it that you need me to do for you? Does she need you to give her that sip of water and remind her, okay, go ahead. Let's take care of your body. Take this sip of water. Okay, we're moving on. If you're lucky to have a home birth, we like them too, and birthing centers. So, hey, let's get you a bite to eat. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel your body. I want to fill your body up because I know that you're putting in the work. So we're going to give you the fuel that you need to continue to, navigate this labor. So I try to give dads all the resources and the tools that I can. When it comes down to hip squeezes, I always tell people, you don't know how strong you are until you have to do consistent hip squeezes. And especially if mom is like, don't stop. And you're like,
what?
So I love to just really prepare people as much as I can, and
Yeah.
especially dads. I love it. I love to see how they look at their woman because, like you said, they see how resilient they are. They realize, like, whoa, you really have to go through all of this. Yes, we really have to go through all of this, right? To see how loving most of them can be. To see that first tear, if it's their I used to think it was first time dads, but sometimes it doesn't matter how many children you have. They still see their seed. So I love seeing them look at their child. I love seeing them look at their woman and just like, we did this. This is our family. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful to see partners with a purpose, right?
Hmm.
They walk into it when they feel prepared and they feel like I have the tools. It's logical to them, it's practical to them, it's not a
Hmm.
whole lot of fluff. These are the things you need to do. They take on that role, they are serious about that role, and even if they are a little scared, you see so much pride and they are so proud of themselves that they
Hmm.
were able to show up in a way because it's different being a provider. It's different being in the house and changing a light bulb or making sure the car is together and making sure the lawn is mowed or, certain bills are paid. But when you show up in a birthing space,
Hmm.
dads become even more vulnerable. And I think that has the potential in many ways to open them up to a different type of love, to receiving as well as giving, not only to their new baby, but also to their partner. And so I think that's so beautiful. I know we talked about what some of the red flags are and some of the green flags are when choosing your birth team. What would be your top 3 red flags if a birthing person, a mom is experiencing these top 3 things, that they should really look into finding another provider?
If that provider was dismissive, if they have a high C-section rate, and if you feel they're inconsistent with their answers, them are normally, or they don't completely answer your questions. To me, right there, something is wrong. And the reason I say that a lot of times is because let's say you're going in for a VBAC. We know that's a vaginal birth after C-section, right? And this doctor has warmed you up and, oh, yes, I'm all for it. I'm going to let you have this VBAC. You can do this, you can do that. And then you notice towards the end, or as you're getting closer to the end, different things are being said. Well, I'm thinking about inducing you. Then we're going to start doing this. And then we'll let you labor for a couple of hours, but if you're not doing anything or you're not progressing like we feel you should, we're going to have to cut you. But you said that you would let me try to have a feedback. So why would it be I'm not progressing in this? Now, there is a certain amount of hours, but if somebody's telling you 1 or 2 hours and you're not progressing, let's look at that. That's a red flag. Doctors who are quick to want to induce, that's a big thing that I'm starting to realize. A lot of doctors, we went from 39 weeks to now, oh, it's okay to have your baby at 37 weeks. That baby's going to be so big. You don't want to put yourself through that. Why should you even go through that? We can just go ahead and already set you up for an induction. Or your baby's going to be too big, or your
Mhm.
baby's going to be too small, right? So the scare tactics, that's another one. How comfortable are you with discussing the things with your doctor? So definitely C-sections. Are they dismissive? Do they answer all of your questions? Do you feel like they're going to lead you to, are they going to let your body go into natural labor, or are they going to be quick to induce you? Are they hearing the things and answering your questions? Because a lot of providers no, they're very dismissive. And I understand. Let me be a little bit more open-minded to this. They're called to do their jobs as well. And we all know that everything isn't always just us as a human problem. It's a systematic problem. And we're all a number and we're just trying to get everything in and out, right? And so sometimes you do meet a lot of doctors that are very loving and caring and kind, and they want to do the work. But we've also put a lot of pressure on them too, because now they've had to work all morning with their regular schedule. Then they have to be at births and don't get called to 2 or 3 births in the middle of the night. Now I got to get back up at 8 o'clock in the morning and see all these patients again. And 9 times out of 10, I'm seeing anywhere from 25 to 30 patients a day. But maybe if I had 1 or 2 births, one of them births was a little bit of an emergency and I just needed to catch my bearings as a provider. So I do understand how providers feel too. Sometimes it's always going. It's constantly going. We have to get back to the human side of things and not just being a number.
Definitely. So, building your birth team usually requires people who specialize in order for you to have a well rounded team. For expectant parents, sometimes this can be expensive because some of these providers or practitioners may not be covered by insurance, or they only have a limited number of visits to work with this practitioner or provider. And so, for those who are on limited budgets, what are some affordable or community based resources that you have seen, especially in the Houston area or in general, that can just help them still build a strong birth team, but within their budget?
That's a good question, and you caught me because now, look, I finally am at a blank, right? Always long-winded, and now you caught me. So we have something out here called 211, but I also think it's the different hospitals that you do. So, for example, right now, I partner with a group called Here For You Doulas, and we are a group of doulas that have been contracted with Memorial Hermann. So, with that, you don't have to actually pay for the doula. We're getting paid through Memorial Hermann, but you get all the services of a doula. It's also what you said. I realize a lot of practitioners, sometimes they do not take insurance, but what they do is they sometimes run a special sometimes. So I always tell people to look into specials and different things like that. See what your local hospitals also have to offer. When it comes down to gifts, I always tell people you get enough clothes and baby items. Start having people put towards that. So that's mainly one of the things I do because community wise, there's probably a lot. I do apologize. I don't know all of them and you made my mind go blank. But that is one of the biggest things that I like to do is always tell people to make sure to get a gift card for that particular service that they need. But also you can talk to certain people and see if they'll do a sliding scale. So a
Very.
lot of practitioners out here, not necessarily providers, but a lot of the practitioners such as doulas, pelvic floor therapists, chiropractors and different things like that, they do have sliding scales that they'll make it more reasonable, to be able to assist you.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the doctor on TikTok who was calling around to different doctors' offices to ask them what the price would be if a person went through insurance versus them paying out of pocket for their services,
Mhm.
and just how significantly different the cost was. And many times it was so much cheaper to pay out of pocket because they offered certain discounts for self-pay. It's great information to know. But like you said, finding those community resources helps you to get that support, receive those wraparound services that you need, and you don't feel like it's so out of reach for you to create the birth team that you want in order for you to really move towards having the birth outcome that you want. As we start to come to a close, I would like for you to give us one core message for families, for mamas, about protecting their well being, their autonomy during their pregnancy and birth, and what would be the first step they should take in order to really empower themselves.
Being okay with knowing what you want and not what everybody else wants for you. Being okay with saying no or not right now, or I appreciate your suggestion. I'll think about it. There's power in the word no. And we have to be okay with saying no. There's power in being able to make up your own mind. We are not our mothers and our grandmothers. We appreciate them and we love them, right? And they've been through things as well. But our time now is different. And so sometimes you have to go with the time. Doing the research. I know it can be a lot and it does become overwhelming, but kind of narrow down exactly what you feel that you need and that you want so that way when it's time to pick your team and different things like that. Example, when I was a surrogate mom, one of mine was a chiropractor. That was a non-negotiable for me. I wanted a chiropractor. What can I do to find a chiropractor that's going to align with me, but that is going to be cost efficient, right? Will my insurance cover this? Doing the research that I needed to do. Having a partner and really sitting down with your partner and making sure that you guys hear each other. Let them know what's important to you, but hear what's important to them. If you have someone that doesn't agree, like where you're like, hey, I want to have an unmedicated birth, and these are the things that I don't want, honey, I really don't like taking medication. But then they see you in there at one of your most vulnerable stages, and now they're like, yeah, give her the medication. But deep down inside, you don't want that. These are conversations that you have to have. So making sure that when you and your partner walk into whatever birthing setting that you're walking into, that you are in alignment and on one accord. So them are the things that are important. I think I answered both of your questions. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
you definitely did. So, how can we get in touch with you, love on you, and support you? What are your social media handles and what is your contact information? I'm going to make sure that I also put it in the description below. But for those that are watching who may be taking notes, how can we find you?
Okay, so I am Chaka Parker. I'm also known as Doula with a Purpose. I think a lot of people think that's my name. It's not. It's Chaka. It's pronounced it's spelled Chaka and pronounced Chaka. You can reach me through my website, which is www.doulawithapurpose.com. You can reach me on Instagram and Facebook. Same thing, Doula with a Purpose. I'm part of a group called Here For You Doulas. We are a team of 7. I think it's 7 of us where we just trying to make the load a little bit lighter. So sometimes you get 2 doulas instead of 1. And so that's super awesome. So you can go to Here For You Doulas on Instagram, also on our website, which is www.hereforyoudoulas.com. If you are birthing in Houston and at any Memorial Hermann at this time, please do reach out to Here For You Doulas. If you can't afford a doula, please look into the program. Yeah,
Yeah.
them are the main handles.
Yes,
I
yes,
try to
yes,
stay
yes.
off of social media. I'm getting better, you guys. I'm getting better.
Yes, yes. We all need that social media detox for sure. But thank you for sharing that information with us.
Yeah.
And before we close, there's always one question that I ask our guests before. And so, with all of your lived experience, with all that you have seen, all that you have been through, all the love and the nurturing that you are providing and continue to provide to your community, what would you tell little Chakra?
Here you go again. Your purpose is greater than your pain. You are gonna go through some things to get to where you are, but it's gonna get greater later.
We love it. We are all about loving, supporting, growing, and building sacred and healthy spaces in order for our community to thrive and not just survive. And so we love you and appreciate you for all the work that you are doing. And how you're pouring back into the community, but most importantly, how you continue to pour back into yourself. Because by you doing that, not only are you helping those that you serve, but you are a walking example of what it looks like to walk in your purpose, regardless of the challenges that one faces. And so, thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing your story, dropping so many amazing gems for families who are watching, doulas, new doulas who are watching, and practitioners and providers. If you are in Houston or in the surrounding areas, please look her up. Please love on her. Please support her. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you, Shaka, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. So much love to you.
Yes.